If you want
Anuj,
me to, we can begin.
all right. Okay. I'll formally begin. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, once again. On behalf of Fariha Basit Khan Literary Society, I welcome you all to this fourth workshop on creative writing, which is being conducted in connection with a series of workshops that were conducted in the beginning of last year, 2020, that is. Now, every episode of these workshops, these series deals with one genre, and today's workshop deals with drama. And we are honored to have Dr. Amara Khan with us. Let me quickly introduce her to you. Dr. Khan is the program in charge for MS in English Literature at LCWU. Khan brings more than 10 years of teaching experience to higher education. Currently, she's engaged with teaching of modern drama, and this is the course she herself has designed to MS students at Lahore College for Women University. She provided direct support for the A level and IB students by conducting workshops at a school in York, United Kingdom. She completed her PhD degree in Indian and Nigerian drama. She has also taught in the University of Leeds, UK, by conducting seminars on drama to students of BS Level 1, Semester 2. During her Masters in Arts from Government College University, Lahore, she played lead role in the 3 annual plays for which she was awarded the Roll of Honor for Dramatics. Dr. Khan performed in the Culture Shock comedy drama at the University of Leeds, UK in 2012. Dr. Khan is passionate about the theater experience and therefore also availed the opportunity of getting the experience of street theater in the UK. And let me tell you all that this is just a brief glimpse into her personality. I'm a great admirer of Dr. Khan, and she's my personal favorite. And I'm sure all of you are going to learn a lot in today's workshop. Um, I think let's begin. Over to you, Dr. Khan. Once again, thank you very much for being here today. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. If you all can hear me, feelings are extremely mutual, and you are equally, if not more, of my favorite. So I hope that the little I know of theater can benefit the others who are listening. It's just some of my personal experiences and what I have learned by being involved in drama, whether in teaching or whether in performance. So, if by any means, I mean, if Miss Aisha, if you stop listening to me, just let me know, please. That otherwise I may continue the
We
solo
will.
show,
And I
right?
would request everyone to turn their mics mute, and we will have, I suppose, we'll have the questions in the end, Dr. Khan.
Yes, that would be great if we can do that. Yeah. So we can just continue with our thoughts because mostly perhaps you might find that what you wanted to ask has already been covered through the workshop. So let's not waste time on that and let's keep the questions in the end. All right. So just I think personally, if you would ask me what drama is, I would say that drama is something that we all do on everyday basis. So this is something this much related to our life. So whatever we are doing, this is all drama. What I am doing here, this is again drama. Why it is drama? Because drama is, in other words, you can call it is manipulation, right? So manipulation, I think perhaps is the right word because we all manipulate in some way the others who are with us or somehow connected with us. So this is how the life goes. And as you all are university students or somehow involved with university, I don't know how many faculty we have, but mostly the students. So you must have experienced that every day, it's almost every day when you go to university and you meet your friends again, the first thing that you tell them is that, oh, this is what happened yesterday. So what has happened to you yesterday, you are narrating it in a form of a story. And how you are narrating it, again, you are using all the techniques of drama. So basically you are bringing something that happened to you yesterday in real form. All right, so you are giving life to those incidents, if I am making sense to you. So it's everyone, we all are manipulating the other person. And you must have noticed that some people have the art of, bringing in more detail, that I was there and then there was the sound and this was the light. And then suddenly I got stuck and I was so shocked or I was so surprised. So what are you basically doing? You are just trying to send the message across. So this is what drama is. So this is how close it is to our life. Now, when we talk of drama, I would say that it is the entire journey. In other words, it is a long process which definitely involves many other things other than script writing. All right. So drama would definitely engage with, you know, all your direction, production, then all the theatricalities that are involved, all the equipment that you require, all the finances that you would be needing for that. Um, how would you develop your character and all that? But I would, for this workshop, I would just limit myself or try to limit myself to just script writing. All right. So that's part of drama. So we will just restrict ourselves to what is script writing. So as I have mentioned that it is, for me, it is a journey or it is a process. So we would try to see how it happens step by step. So the first important thing is naturally what we call as the story germ. I'm sure you must have heard of that, all right? So what is the germ that comes to your brain? It strikes you and then you think of it that, oh my God, I need to put it through words. Another very important thing, I'm sure most of you must have experienced that it's kind of whenever you are, you are watching a very spellbinding movie, or if you are addicted to a TV show, or maybe you have come across a gripping play. So sometimes it does happen that you feel like that, oh God, I wish I had written this. You see, because you relate with the author, and then you can say that, oh my God, I think the same way. I have the same approach towards life as this writer has written. So for that, naturally, you do dream about your own concepts or your own ideas being brought to life or being performed by others. So that is no doubt indeed a very big achievement. Um, so in short, I can just tell you, if we can take it in terms of what is a recipe of screenplay. So I would say that I would just touch upon the ingredients that you require. Number one, as I have just mentioned, is the idea. You may call it the high concept, the story germ, the idea, whatever you want to take it. So once you have got the idea, the second thing then we think of usually is that what should we take as the archetype, right? So you have got the idea. Now you would start thinking on that, oh my God. So the idea is bright indeed. That's mine, that's bright. But how should I convey it? Um, should I present it through a tragedy? Should I present it through a comedy? Should I bring in melodrama? So that's your choice. This is what we call generally archetype. All right. So you've got the idea, you've got the archetype. Now you would think upon that, how should I keep the sequence of whatever is in my head? So this is what we call sequence development, right? So once all of these things are in your head, then naturally you want to bring it out. How would you bring it out? You would bring it out through your words. And this is the point where you need this scripting, or you need this script. All right. Then obviously, once you will have the script, you will be needing character sketches. You will be needing different sketches or different characters as per your need. You will also be needing to think of uh, what kind of rhythm would you keep, or what should be the texture of your play, right? And then you will also think of the pacing, that is the speed with which the story would move on. Now, these are the basic ingredients, what makes a screenplay. But as I have mentioned that we are only focusing on scripting. So in scripting, we will talk, no, unfortunately, I'm unable to talk with you. I'm unable to get feedback from you because of this Zoom thing. But assuming what is very, very basic and what I think that you can relate to, so we can move on with these things. So in scripting, we will definitely talk of what is action, what is a character. Very briefly, we will touch upon what is the importance or significance of setting or location. Then obviously, no drama can exist without a central theme. You have to have an idea to convey. So what is the theme of your story? Then we will talk of how should you structure that. So basically, I will move from the lowest part, that is structure. So starting from the structure, then we will try to bring in all these other 5 aspects into it. 5 or 4? 4. Action, character, setting and theme. 4, that makes 4. All right. So, I think if you just think of the videos that you make of yourself, and then you put on YouTube, or even you send it to your family, what is it? These are the mini dramas that you are doing for your family or your friends or for the broader audience, right? Again, I think that's a very good example of these silly TikToks. What are these? Again, these are the dramas, right? So you pick up an idea, you perform on it, and then you send it out. So that becomes your story, that becomes your interpretation. And trust me, there is nothing wrong in reinterpreting or remaking of anything, all right? Because originality is excellent, it's good, but I don't say that those who are remaking or reinterpreting are less of the artists. I think that also makes or it demands equal effort. Um, Now, it's quite easy to say that, all right, fine, we've got all these ingredients, so what's the big deal? Now we can write on, we can just begin with structuring and then we can move on. But we all understand that writing is tedious. It is extremely tedious. And for me, if you ask me, I think writing is the maximum hard work that happens to your brain. All right, nothing is harder. Oh, and that reminds me of who was he? I think it was Mark Twain who once said that if I had if I had more time, I would have written to you a shorter letter. You see, so writing long and writing for more words is always easy, but when you are asked to write concise and precise, which is one of the basic demands of drama, it becomes even more difficult. So writing short or writing less is more difficult in comparison to writing long, if you agree with me. Another important thing is that why I am saying that it is a tedious task and it demands a lot of hard work, because when you are a writer and when you are creating a script, then you are basically transporting yourself into the shoes of other characters. So you are not just thinking of one character. In fact, you are thinking of multiple characters. And then you are one person who would just get out of yourself and transport yourself and put yourself into the shoes of one specific character, and then think according to that person, that how that person behaves, how that person would act to certain event. And this is the practice that you would do with all the characters you would like to have in your script. So I think that's extremely difficult. So being a writer, what you are doing is you are not only creating a world, but you are also populating it, if you get my point. Yeah. So you bring life, you see. So each character should appear as a living character. That is the basic essence of writing any play. All right. So I basically thought, in fact, that though it's not possible, it's absolutely not possible that we should target writing one drama together. In fact, I would say it's not possible that if we try to target even writing one act together in these 45 to 50 minutes. So what I thought was that what if we try to create one scene, right? So we will try to create one scene together, because if you create one scene, you can create multiple scenes. And by creating multiple scenes, naturally, you are creating a drama. All right. So because all of you have written your thesis. So if I say this, what is the significance of one scene? It's similarly like you have your independent chapters in your thesis. So each chapter has its own independent existence. The second chapter has its own independent existence, but then both the chapters are related to your topic. They are directly related. Both the chapters are interconnected, and they are ultimately connected to your topic. This is exactly what happens in scenes. So basically, drama is always written as independent scenes. So you can have multiple scenes, and then when you bring them together, that makes a form of one full-fledged drama. All right. So there is another term which I'm sure literature students are familiar with, and that is what we call as strong readers. I'm sure you must have heard of what is a strong reader. So a strong reader is basically, I would say in simple words, any person who makes the movie of a book he or she is reading. All right. So you are not only reading the words, but you are visualizing the words, and you are making your own performance in your mind while you are reading it. So to be a writer, I think you have to be a strong reader. This is kind of, a practice that we all do, because I think we all know that a drama is basically meant to be performed. This is what we all know. So how does I just pointed out that it begins with idea. Now the first thing is that how to think of an idea. Sometimes that is also tricky. Sometimes to the artists, the ideas, they just happen. But for people like me, we have to think really hard that what to write. Okay. So I would say if you think in terms of what you do on your Facebook and what you do with your Twitter, it's quite similar to that. Because, a drama is always built on a conflict. In other words, the core of drama is conflict. I'm not saying it's a kind of a fight or a quarrel, not in that sense, but conflict in terms of the contention or the basic argument on which you create your drama. So if you just take a moment and think of what kind of status you put on your Facebook, what is that? That is your idea that you are sending across. So that is the contention that you do on everyday basis. On Twitter also, it's the same thing. I'm not much familiar with what happens on Instagram and the other stuff, but I'm sure this is exactly what happens with other things as well. But at least this is the idea. Your status on your Facebook or your Twitter is your idea. So that is the contention. So drama always emerges from conflict. If you don't have a conflict, your drama cannot exist. All right. So you have to have a conflict. Now, once you have got the conflict, then the second thing is that what kind of means would you use to present that idea across? So you may think of creating some kind of mystery. that I will use some kind of mystery and then I will present my idea across. You may think of surprising your audience, that, you know, the shock therapy and the surprise therapy. So you may utilize that. You may use your the other thing which is called suspense. So you may use that. All right, now we will quickly move on to what is how to structure one scene. No, in fact, before that, I think when we are talking of idea, I think you can get idea from number of means or ways. Obviously through discussion, through sharing your thoughts with your family, with friends. These are, we all know about these things. But I think one very I may take I may call it as a tip for the writers who are struggling to get an idea, is that when you are watching a movie, any of your favorite movies, so always watch the movie with the concept of what if. All right, this what if is very important. That what if this had not happened, or what if that had happened, you see. So you basically, you pick the ideas from the other things. I'm sure uh, if we can pick one example of what we all have actually different tastes for movies, but I think one movie which is who was that the Lion King. I'm sure many of you have watched that. Yeah, Miss Aisha, your nod can help me.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
we've watched that.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
perfect. All right. So for example, if you're watching the Lion King, so in the beginning, right in the beginning, if you're watching and that's one of your favorite movies, and you start thinking that what if Mufasa had not died, and in fact he had some magical powers and he just disappeared, and he would reappear after some time with, you know, reincarnation or some other thing. So yes, you have picked the idea from the Lion King, but that would not remain the Lion King. That would become your story, and there is no harm in it, absolutely no harm in it, in remaking and remaking of movies. This is how you pick ideas. I can also give you, I think, few databases. I think that's very useful if you are really interested in how a script is written. We have few websites and databases where you can find the film scripts of your favorite movies. That would be fun. So you have watched them. So if you want to read those scripts, I think that is good. One is Go Into the Story. Uh, this website is basically for the unproduced scripts. All right. So you may not find your favorite movies in it because these are the unproduced scripts, but at least you can have good idea of how a script is written, or how big authors have written them. There is another one which is called Simply Scripts. All right, so that is a diverse library, in fact, if you are interested, but that also deals with some English and some non-English screenplays. There is another one very, very useful, which is called Screenplays for You. I think that is the biggest, perhaps, as per my search. So it's the screenplay database and the Screenplays for You, both are equally good. It's a very useful resource, and perhaps they claim that you will find the script of your favorite movie if you go on that. So you can check it on your own if it really happens. All right. So now what we are going to do is, quickly in the remaining time, we will try to um, create or draft one scene. So we all know that when we are doing it, we should have one basic story, or call it one basic idea. And then we will try to bring all the ingredients of script writing into it. So when we talk of structuring a scene, that is that first of all, you have to think what location would you like to keep, whether it is interior or it is exterior. These are the very basic things I'm telling you, all right? So we can narrow it down further. Then for structuring, you would also be needing the confrontation, that is the conflict, in other words, that what is the incident, like what is happening or what is the meeting point, right? Then you would talk of, if you notice, I'm basically talking about the very general structure of drama. You know, all those who have read drama, that is the prologue and beginning, the crisis, climax, and falling action, rising action, and the denouement, right? So we are basically dealing with all these things. So you should think of that you must have a confrontation, you must think of crisis, that what is the time of intense difficulty in your story. So after crisis, you will reach your climax. You will definitely talk about or discuss the most intense point or the highest or the peak of that story. So once you have got that, so that is the maximum you could do. Now you have to resolve all the problem that you yourself have created, all right? So you will bring it down by start resolving it through different actions. Then obviously you will come to end. Um, it's up to you if you want to just keep one plot in it, or if you want to bring in two plots in it again, or a subplot. That's again your personal choice. So once you have got all of these, then you will weave them together, right? So have a very beautiful amalgamation of all these things. um, I would personally suggest that when you are starting with a scene, so I would suggest that always give it a heading. It is useful. So it is for your own self, but it is always useful, because you know, when I'm saying that there can be many scenes in one act, then there can be many acts as well. So you may have the tendency to forget that, oh my God, and you don't have time to read all of the scene again and again to see where would I put it. So if you have given one title to it, so that would make it easier कि अच्छा ये था, so I would fit in somewhere in this act, or maybe no, it's not suitable, I should pick it up and I should bring it later. All right, so we all are familiar with this stream of consciousness and the flashback technique. This is all up to you, how you would like to engage with it. So the scene heading is why it is important, one for your own self, and second for the directors and the actors who would be performing on your script. So they need to know that how you envision the scene, or the writer, because you are the writer. So the vision of the writer is extremely important. So that depicts through the scene heading. All right. Now let's move on to what we are doing here. So for setting the scene, so we can decide, as I said, it can be interior, it can be exterior. Again, if you're talking of interior, it can be multiple places. It can be your dining room, it can be your drawing room, it can be your lounge, it can be your basement, it can be your kitchen, your bedroom, whatever you want. Not only restricting to the house, but it can be inside the shop, it can be inside interior of the office, it can be interior of the classroom, whatever department, whatever is your personal choice. So you have to select the interior. Same goes for exterior. So exterior means if you want to begin with beach, if you are very romantic and idealistic and nature loving, why not start from beach? If you want to keep the exterior not inside or interior of the shop, but if you want to begin from the parking of the shopping mall, that would be exterior, right? So you have to choose one setting for your own self. Because I'm doing it from this side, I am keeping it as interior, and I am keeping it as a bedroom. Okay, so my story would deal with interior and bedroom, right? All right, so we've got the basic setting. Now let's think of the time. All right, so because we have to place that within 24 hours, where are we setting our scene? So again, it can be middle of the night, it can be early dawn, it can be evening. It's up to you. I would keep it as late afternoon. Okay. So my scene is going something like it's interior and it's the, what did I say, bedroom, and it is late afternoon. All right. So this is the basic with which you begin. So once you've got your setting of the scene, let's put some action into it. All right. How would you
Is there a problem, Mahnoor? Can we all hear Dr. Khan?
No, ma'am, there's distortion in the voice.
It's okay. I think it's going to settle down on its own. Mahnoor, would you please check what's going on?
Miss, it's on Dr. Khan's end. She's going to log again.
Gigi,
Okay,
can you hear me now? I'm sorry. I think I got disconnected.
Yes, we can. There was some distortion. You can continue, Dr. Khan.
I don't know. Till when could you hear me? Where was I? So we had set the interior setting. Did you hear that?
Yes, we were in the bedroom and it was late afternoon. I reached you by there.
Perfect. So we were in the bedroom. Yes. And it was late afternoon. And what else did we talk about? Yes, it's the interior, late afternoon and the bedroom. Perfect. So I was just saying that once you have done the setting for this basic setting for your scene, now you're ready to write the action. All right. So you should put some action into it. And I just pointed out that the maximum important thing that you should keep in mind is that whenever you are writing a script, it has to be literally what we call as the present tense. Okay, so you always write in the present tense, because that means that you are writing as though whatever is happening in the scene is happening right now. This is how you bring it to life. All right, and you write only and always in present tense. Okay, so this is what is happening. Even if you are talking about something past, that would be a separate scene, but you would show that how that thing happened in the past. I think I need to shut this down. Okay. So yes, you should keep present tense. All right. So you would write on top in blocks or in capitals if you want. You can write your interior, bedroom, and late afternoon. All right. Now, if you want, you have to create some action. How would you do that? You may mention what kind of light is there in the bedroom, right? So we may say that like trying to be a little dramatic. So the dim light filters through the window or the high curtains of the window, whatever you feel like. All right. Now, if you want, you can discuss the what you say, the layout of your bedroom. Is it an empty bedroom? That would make it quite absurdist if you want to keep it that way. Just a table and a chair. or if you want, uh, you can just mention beautiful this maroon and pink curtains that I can see at the moment, and you can talk of the bookshelf that is there in the bedroom with the books. So you can talk about these things. If you want, you can, and then once you have done the setting, then you can introduce your character. All right. So you would just mention the name. And because we all know Miss Aisha and she's our favorite, so we can take, in my story, in my scene, I would take Aisha Amtu Rashid as my character. So Aisha Amtu Rashid, and then I would put the age somewhere as 25, let's say. And then I would say that what is Aisha doing? Aisha is awake, obviously. She is sitting on a chair with her face in her hands. Now, this is where I'll put my own drama into it. All right. And then you may think of, if you want, you can bring in some other sound from the outside, such as then footsteps are heard from the upper story, or footsteps are heard from outside of the door, which would shock or surprise or amuse Aisha, however you want to take this. All right. So we have just added action into the story. So once you have done this very basic action, now if you want, you can add more characters into it. All right. Again, that's up to you. If you want Miss Aisha to sit alone and be meditating for a longer period of time, that's up to you. If you want the person who was making or creating footsteps just enter the room, again, that's your choice. So it's up to you to what extent you want to build up the scene. So now that you have brought your character into the scene, you probably will want the character to speak. Okay, so we don't want Miss Aisha just sitting there and not doing anything. We want her to utter few things, to say something. So for that, there are definitely some rules. So first of all, you have to introduce the character. Up till now, we have only introduced her name. We have not introduced the character. All right. So how you are going to do, you will bring in, again, you will put in all the setting, interior, the bedroom, late afternoon, dim light filtering through windows. There is a lot of furniture and bookshelf and curtains in the room. Aisha Mumtaz, 25, is awake, sitting on a chair with her face in her hands. Footsteps are heard, and then you write Aisha Mumtaz, or just write Aisha's name again in bold. Because what would come after Aisha would be the dialogue that indicates that now Aisha is going to speak something. All right. So then you would make your character talk. All right. And we all know that talking in a movie is called dialogue. So whatever she's going to say would be your personal favorite dialogue. I think I would keep it as that I'm not going to repeat. You have your basic setting. So after Aisha, I would say maybe something like, what I'm going to do with all this internet issue. Oh God, I think I'm disrupted again. Am I? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right. So let's keep it very basic that Miss Aisha Mumtaz, because we have already talked that she has her face in her hands, which is normally if she is sitting like this. So it's not a very happy pose in which usually people sit. So it's kind of a worry or some tension that the very gesture indicates. So it would be that, what am I going to do with this internet issue? The meeting is going to start in 10 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to manage that. See, very, very basic. Simple words, clear expression, but the thought is conveyed. Now, you as the writer may have some idea that how should something should be said or some action needs to be taking place at the same time. This is something very important because this is what we call parenthetical. You all are familiar with parenthesis, right? The brackets. So everything that is your idea, how you want the action to take place, would come within those parentheses. And this is what we call parenthetical. This is extremely important. So now Aisha, we have said that yes, she has shown her concern, and we have agreed on this, that she is worried about the internet issue. So if you want, after Aisha, you can, in parentheses, you may write sighing, right? To give expression, to give a kind of emotion to your character, and then you can bring in your basic dialogue once again. So this is how you facilitate your actors and your directors, that what do you want? And you know, if you read Samuel Beckett, for instance, you would realize that he gives very minute stage setting details. And he was quite in a way stubborn that he did not give the slightest of margin to his director for performance. He wanted that if I have said that the chair is there 6 inches apart from the table, it has to be there. So some writers are very particular. So if you are one of those, this parenthesis really helps. So you can put your all your opinion on how you want the action to take place into that. All right. Another important thing is that it's not necessary that if we have shown Aisha sitting on a chair, then throughout the scene she must keep sitting on the chair. That can also bring in dullness to your scene. So you want Aisha to get up, to take a round, maybe go near the window, look outside as if she is waiting for someone, and then she would come back. So this is what you call that if you want your character to move and talk simultaneously, then you have to put in the exact action that is there in your mind. And once again, you introduce your character. For example, you may do something like this, that after sighing, like Aisha, and sighing gesture, and then she would say, what am I going to do with all this internet issue? And then you would write, getting up from the chair, Aisha walks over to one of the windows and stares out of it. All right. And then you can bring in the remaining worry. And that was that I'm not sure, the meeting is about to happen in 10 minutes. I don't know who is going to fix it up. All right. So you basically did some action into it. And this parenthesis would definitely include, it will show that how she is getting up, how she is looking out of the window, how she is talking, all about that. Now, this is, if you ask me, this is the very basic way of creating a scene. If you want, you can introduce more characters. You can make Aisha converse with them. All right. I will just touch upon few other theatrical techniques, basically. One is called voiceover. I'm not sure if you have heard of it or not, but it is called voiceover. All right. What is it? That sometimes you may want your character to talk in a different way than straight dialogue. So if you have experienced what happens, that maybe you want the action to continue while the character isn't in the scene, but you can still hear her voice. All right. So this is called voiceover, that the voice is coming, but you can't see the character. All right. So this can be one approach. If you want, you can make Aisha from the window, just move the camera to something, to maybe some person who has come to fix the internet issue. You would take your camera on there, but still you will hear Aisha saying that I think it's impossible to get it fixed in such a short time. So you would hear her voice, but you would not see her because the camera would be on someone else's face. So this is called voiceover. Another important technique is which we call keeping the beat. All right, in drama, you must have observed that. I don't know how many of you are familiar with our very, very important big character, Talat Hussain. Have you abhi to bachche ho sare, but I don't know if you are familiar with Talat Hussain and his acting
Yes,
in Acha Zabardast, I Love You, whoever this is. Well done. Acha. So if you can recall how Talat Hussain used to deliver his dialogues, I think there was a lot of beat in it, because Talat Hussain is known for um, bringing in long pauses between his dialogues. Even people had made fun of him on that also, but he's a great actor indeed. So this is called keeping the beat. So you would, for Aisha as our character, so you would do it that, all right, she would say something, then you would just mention beat. That is, nobody is saying anything. It is still Aisha's dialogue, but we need some kind of a pause in it, which is very important. So you may have to show something within that span, or maybe you want your audience to think on something else, and then you can continue Aisha's remaining dialogue. Another important thing is, which if you are familiar with what is that art technique, that collage. I'm sure you all know what a collage is, right? पता है ना collage का?
Yes, miss.
चलो बेहतरीन हो गया काम. Well done. So if you know what collage is, that is bringing images together. All right. So in drama or in scripting, we use the term which is called montage. Quite related. Montage is where you put the heading as montage, and then maybe you can take 4, 5, or 6 different happenings that you want your audience to show. And this can be possible by showing all these tiny, minute acts in little windows. So everything is happening, and you can see, as I think it's more like what you see on your security cameras, that so many rooms shown on one big screen. So you know what is happening there. This is called montage. All right, the last technique I would call it is what we call as the intercut. All right, now what is intercut? I think it's through the title or the name. I think it's quite clear. Best example is, I would give that in many of the movies or in many of the TV serials, you usually observe that it usually happens when you are having a telephonic conversation, right? So if Miss Aisha is having a telephone and she's talking to someone, and she's talking to the person who would fix, and she is just launching her complaint against the internet issue. So she's talking to the telephone department. So there would be another person who would be on phone talking to Miss Aisha. So what you do is basically you write these two scenes separately, but then you, for your director, and for the actor, you use the intercut. That is, two scenes would be cut together and then combined together. So on one scene, two different scenes are displayed simultaneously, right? That was all about how you create or how you craft a scene. Now I think I should move on to, this is what we have discussed broadly. All right, so some of you might have written this scene, let's say 5 pages long. Some of you might have written this scene on 2 pages only. All right. Now, every one of you, what you need to do is, once you finish your scene, the extreme important thing is to consider its validity or suitability. All right. So you may like to cut it down to, let's say, from 5 to 3 pages and from 3 to 2 pages, and then see that everything should be there, what I said in a very concise manner, but you don't have to bore your audience, all right? I'm not sure if you are familiar with Alfred Hitchcock. Does anyone know? He was an English film writer and also director, a very big name. And then he moved to Hollywood also. And he has
Can
made
you repeat
these,
the name?
Alfred Hitchcock. He has made these big movies such as one is Psycho and the other is Rebecca. So he has made these big movies, and I think his saying is extremely important in this regard, because he says that what is drama? Drama is life with the dull parts cut out. All right. So anything that is dull in your scene, just cut it out. All right. And I would rather say that after you have written a scene, and then when you think about that, okay, what is the significance of this scene in the entire drama? You should be thinking on the lines that what if I take this scene out? So if you take this well written scene out and it does not affect the story, then I would suggest take it out. All right, because the scene should be such that should enhance and that should improve your story, not as something that should make your audience bored with what you are writing or you are repeating yourself. There is another rule or principle that we usually talk when we talk of this editing and cutting out the irrelevant material, and which is in fact called as the principle in script writing, and that is enter late, exit early. All right. That is, I think, quite if you just think about any party that you are going to attend. So you are not going there to sit and then wait for the party to begin. So when the party has already begun, so you would enter. All right. So when you will enter at that moment, you will make your appearance. All right. Everyone will notice you that, oh God, who has come? Like a VIP kind of a thing, right? And then you don't have to wait for the party to finish. Before the party finishes, you should exit. So that is the basic principle, that enter late, exit early. That is, establish or build up your scene, then make the entry. And as soon as you have a feeling that you or the character is no more required, please exit. Please leave the scene. All right. Right. So basically, this was all on how you structure your scene. So in short, because I did mention in the beginning that it is a tedious task and it's a lot of hard work that is required. So we need to be happy when we are writing, right? So how can you be a happy writer? I don't know, to be honest, but I can only give few suggestions that what can make you happy and you can continue writing very happily. All right. First, very important thing is that please, whatever you are writing, do not take it personally. This is extremely important. You are only a representative of presenting what reality is or what you see life is. You don't have to take it personally. Another important thing is collective ideating. If you have got an idea, share it with others. There is no harm in it. Share it with your family members, share it with your friends. Sometimes you don't even know, but this sharing and discussion, it really helps you. You might not have thought of how this character would look like or how this idea would emerge. But by having some kind of discussion, I think it's always useful. And when I am repeatedly saying that when you are writing a drama and you are representing what life is, then please do keep a reality check of whatever you are writing. All right. If it's not reality check, then it's fine. We do have the science fictions and these other horror movies and all that stuff. But then you should be clear in your head what you are writing about. So, like just I said that Aisha is sitting on a chair and table. So in her bedroom, you can't bring in a mountain. That after standing up from a chair, she started climbing the mountain. This is not practically possible. All right. So you have to keep a reality check of whatever you are writing. I would say another important thing is that taking initiative is very, very important. So take initiatives, but in consultation with others. Yes. And whenever you are thinking of writing something, I would suggest they think only of the productivity. All right. Don't think of the failure. So, because I heard someone saying this, and that really touched my heart, that you never lose in life. You either win or you learn, which is important. All right. So, even if you are taking an initiative, and even if it does not turn out to be very productive as you had imagined it to be, or it was not as successful as you had imagined, still it's not a failure. It was a try. So you learned something even if you did not win. So whenever you are thinking of a conflict, think it in a constructive way. Okay? So it's no use just presenting all the just. I mean, it's fine if you think that the reality is all this negativity and all the dirt and filth that is there around you. It's okay. That's your own perspective. But I think you can handle this project even in a constructive manner. So bring in some construction into it, because we all know that even the worst times that we all face in life, they sometimes they do bring out the best in you. So try to be constructive, try to be productive. Do not shy away from unpleasantness. Taking risks is extremely important, as I have just mentioned, because nothing is predicted in life. Keep on taking risks. You never know where you reach. In totality, if I would say that, what is this script writing? I would say that, what we have tried to do is that we just tried to create one creative creation, right? One minute creative creation. So I think that's not a kind of a job that you have to do. It's kind of a lifestyle. So if you take it as a lifestyle, then I think it can be maximum useful. Yes, another very important thing is that many people say that the more you work hard, the more you are successful. That's true. I don't disagree with it personally. But I think in certain situations, you have to act smart also. So it really works. So sometimes more than working hard, working smart is really useful. So you have to act very smart. By that, I would say that by what is acting smart, that whatever project you are creating, whatever project you have in your mind, think of the finances. I did mention it earlier also. Think of optimizing all the resources. All right. These can be your people you have direct or indirect communication with. You must know that if you are making this Karan Johar kind of a film, do you really have those finances with you or no? You can't have those chiffon sarees and all these snowfall and everything going on. So you have to be realistic regarding the project that you are making. You have to think of the reality check of your ideas. You have to be very careful in thinking of all the equipment that you would be needing, right? So yes, one thing we are lucky somehow, and that is that we are in this age where networking is very useful, and we all do it. So use your networking in an influential manner. So if you are influencing other people, that's fine, but it's okay if you get influenced by other people as well. Do networking, share your ideas, And then when we talk of ideas, I think it's not just one-sided approach towards something is important, but you should have analytical ability. You should have a presence of mind that you should analyze something analytically. And not only analytically, I would rather say that you should develop, or you should exercise thinking laterally, all right? So that if the problem is not solved this way, why not take a creative approach, go around, come from some other direction, and then try to sort it out, all right? And for any creativity, I think the most important thing is your open-mindedness, how open you are to accept new things in life. I think that was all from my side. I don't know if I have missed something, but I think this is what I really wanted to discuss.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan. It was very interesting. Now we can have questions quickly.
Yes, sure.
And while you are thinking about your questions, Khan, I would want you to please highlight the point where you said that rewriting or remaking of something is okay with you. So, since we are dealing with students, if we, I'm not going to expect a
All
lot
right,
of.
okay.
So in what aspect do you think that
Yes.
rewriting and remaking is important?
Yeah,
And
no, I get your point. Yes. So I think, I think that you have rightly pointed it out. By remaking or reinterpreting something, I do not mean plagiarism, if I am directly addressing to the students, all right? So as I mentioned, as I gave the example of the Lion King, that if there is something happening and you're just picking up an idea and then you are building on your own story, that's absolutely fine. But just by changing one or two scenes does not make it a reinterpretation or a remake. That is from where you just change the entire story, and then all the characters are your own, and all the entire development, all the dialogues are your own. I just gave one example of Mufasa not dying and getting into magical powers, but that does not mean that you would just mention that, all right, he had magical powers and let's move on to the Lion King. That won't make it a remake. You see, that's just cutting down or changing one scene. But I usually do this practice with my students when I teach them Shakespearean studies, that when you are reading Shakespeare's plays, there are a number of times when you disagree with how he is presenting something, maybe a character, maybe some idea. So I think those are good points, that if you want to take your position as a writer, you can just pick that moment up, and then you can move on and you can continue with your writing, that no, actually, be it A Midsummer Night's Dream or Measure for Measure or whatever you play, even Othello. So you see, you can pick one thing and then you can remake it. All right.
yes, now the questions, please.
Ji.
Miss, I have two questions.
Ji.
The first is that you said that we have to be precise. So when we're writing scenes, how do we select which ones are important and which ones we have to include in the play?
You see, when I mentioned, I said that once you complete, now it's not entirely that you have to take out the scene. I in fact gave that option as well, and I did it because I said that if something is not required, for example, let's say that you are talking about suspense and you are writing on a suspense, and then one scene you have included because you really want to present the beautiful and luxurious presentation of the drawing room that is there. But if it does not relate to your suspense story, I think there is no purpose bringing in or forcing your audience to see that because I have a beautiful drawing room, you have to see. Because this is how I imagine a drawing room should be, you should see that. Similarly, if a kitchen is not relevant, anything that is happening in the kitchen, please don't bring it in. That's fine. And by cutting it out, I meant that you have to shorten it, and that I would reinforce that that's a very good practice. That if you have, yes, and that makes me think of bringing it to you that the standard timing for a theatrical production is usually 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so in 1 hour and 20 minutes, you usually have your 4 acts, which is a general standard pattern. So in one act, then you have few scenes. So you have to consider the duration or the time as well. All right, I'm talking of the theatrical production, not of the TV serials. So if you think that, no, this scene is taking a lot of time and I'm going beyond that 1 hour and 20 minutes, so what should I remove? I think that would give you a good idea of which scene is not required, or which of the details within the scene are not required, that you can pick out to keep a standard format. And same goes for TV. I think it's been long that I have watched any TV serial, but the last time I saw how many episodes there used to be, I don't know. How many? 25? 16 or 26, something like this.
Miss,
What is the
sometimes it's
standard
30.
pattern? 30? Chalo, let's call it 26. As far as I remember, I think it used to be 26 or 25. So then you have to think that, are you writing for TV? Are you writing for film? Or are you writing for a theater? So whenever you have this clarity in mind, that what are you basically aiming for? All right. So then you would, I think, be in a better position to manage that. If it is going to be 26 episodes, how many scenes would be in the first episode? Then again, we all know that the general standard time for any TV serial is 1 hour, I guess. If they have not exceeded, it used to be 1 hour. So you have to fit in all your scenes and all the action within that 1 hour. I think that would help you in bringing out the irrelevant stuff.
Miss, my second question was that you mentioned beats. Beats are very short when, but when there are pauses, actual pauses in the play, how many different ways do you suggest that we can engage the audience without compromising that pause, that creative thing?
I'm sorry, I don't get it. What do you mean by beats are smaller, and what are the other ways?
Miss, like when there are pauses in the play, and we have to give those pauses for the sake of the play, but we also need to keep the audience's attention. How do you suggest we?
I would suggest that, because it's a mutual effort, it's a mutual project. As I mentioned earlier, that you never, when you are writing, you are only writing from the writer's point of view, and then there are so many other people involved. So yeah, that definitely your director would help you in that, how he or she would visualize that scene or that play to be performed. Even your actors, if you're taking senior actors, even they have their own choices in saying that, all right. So it's a lot related to direction, because you can only mention that, all right, there is a beat, there is gap. Now how much of that beat is required, to how many let's say seconds that is required, that is again up to the direction. And it's a mutual project. Again, I would say, when you seriously get into this business, then at times there are lot many compromises. You can't just say that, no, because I have written, I don't want to budge an inch from there, and it has to be that way. That was Samuel Beckett. We are not Samuel Beckett. And especially being beginners, I think that's a lot of compromise. So mostly it is the directors indeed are at the upper edge. The producers are at the upper edge because their money is involved. So sometimes you have to agree to them that, all right, because again, I would say that, especially for the beginners, it's important. If you ask me personally, I would say that there is no harm in making compromises, as long as your name is coming out. So if people are beginning to know you, and if you have to make few compromises on your script, I think personally, I would say that there is no harm in that. First, you make your name out, you become recognized, and then you should be in a position to say that no, you won't make any changes to my script. What I have written is the ultimate.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
All right,
You're welcome.
Aiza, you have a question?
Yes, miss, I have a question. Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Ji, please.
Miss, I wanted to ask that how screenplay and script writing, how they are related. Like, for example, if we watch a movie, the story or the plot or the script is very good, but the story moves really slowly. So, is it related to screenplay, or is it necessary that it should be written by the same person?
You know what? Screenplay and script writing, they are basically the same thing, if you ask me. Screenplay, we call it when it happens on the screen. And if it is only restricted to the book form or the text, or if it is only restricted to the theater, then we call it script writing. Otherwise, as per my understanding, there is no difference between screenplay and script writing. Screenplay is a bigger project because then it engages a lot many people, a big production house and direction, and actors, different locations, your cameraman technicalities, your setting. It becomes broader, but when we are talking of screenwriting and script writing, I think it moves on the same principle.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, there are things like original screenplay and adapted screenplay. Is this the thing that you were discussing earlier that we can make changes and like can also use the earlier stuff?
No, no, not exactly, not exactly. Because when you talk of adaptation, you accept and you agree that this is the basic thing, this is the primary text on which the adaptation has been made. So you acknowledge that and you don't have to make, changes in it. It is absolutely right. Just like these days, many of the fairy tales have been adapted. This Maleficent 1 and 2 and all these. So they call it that this is adaptation of Sleeping Beauty. That is absolutely fine. When I said that you can pick up an idea, that was basically to help you if you are getting some kind of problem, or if you're facing any trouble in getting ideas that on what should I write. So that was that if you are, for example, watching a play by Amjad Islam Amjad, or you are watching Shakespearean play or any other play, or you're watching a movie. I in fact mentioned the movies. So that's how you just pick up idea by questioning yourself that what if this and not that had happened, or what if this had not happened, in fact something else had happened. So that is only to pick up idea, but that does not stay an adaptation then, because it becomes your idea and then you remake it in a different way.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Surya.
Uh, Miss, as being a beginner writer and being a kind of writer who is very fixated on giving the description where the course of action is playing, like where the course of action of my story is playing, I give an elaborate description of that. So, how to overcome that while writing a play because there is a very limited room of that kind of description in script writing?
Can we hear Dr. Khan?
No, ma'am.
No, miss.
I think we'll have to wait. Mahnoor, is there a problem on Dr. Khan's end? Please check it.
Miss, I think she's logging back again.
Okay. Okay, yes, she got disconnected. She just informed me. All right, she's here. Khan, can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
yes, you're audible.
I'm sorry, I just got disconnected. Could you hear me what I said, what I replied to that question, or you couldn't hear me from the beginning?
No, you didn't start and you got disconnected.
All right, okay. So I was saying that, right. So the question regarding how to help in not giving that detail, if I remember the question right, I said that personally, I am much in favor of giving as much detail as you can, especially when you are a beginner. All right, because you want precision, and it is only through your words that your directors and your actors would understand what you are trying to convey and what is your vision of, uh, presenting the entire scene. So I think at this stage, I would not at least suggest to a beginner that don't give any directions, like don't include parenthetical and just move on with the dialogues, because chances are that that would be rejected if the director and other team would not understand what you are trying to present. So I think it's good. It's good if you give detail as much as possible. And if you would be presenting your script to someone else, like to a producer or to a director specifically, I think they will help you in cutting the irrelevant stuff out of it. So you don't have to worry. But if you would give it to me, I would really appreciate. I like that. I like to see how the writer presents his or her opinion and their view. So I think it's a personal choice sometimes.
All right. So we'll have the last question now.
Assalamu alaikum,
Aisha,
ma'am.
you have a
Can you hear
question?
me?
Yes, I can
I
hear
do
you.
have a
Yes,
Walaikum assalam. Yeah.
Ma'am, even before starting this workshop, I had this question in my mind that this is Pakistan and we are talking about English play. So as super like seriously beginner writer, and if someone is interested in playwriting, how are they supposed to get exposure and connect to this whole thing?
All right. Um, I think I forgot to mention, but very honestly, when I was thinking of this workshop and what to discuss with you, very honestly, it wasn't in my mind that I'm only restricting myself to English drama. Trust me. So I dealt with it as drama in any language that you would like to write, be it English, be it Urdu, or be it Punjabi. It's the same formula. All right. Now, how you can get exposure being in a Pakistani society, and especially for writing English plays, I would suggest that why not start from your own institution? That's the easiest. So if you have written something good, give it to or share it with the dramatic society of your institution and see if they would accept it, and which I'm sure if it is good, nothing like it. So it would be an absolute complete project of that institution, beginning from the script till doing the performance on it. So I think we just make our way step by step. And for a student, I would suggest that you start from your institution once your institution would accept it, more audience, more people from outside would come. If they appreciate your writing, they may approach you. You never know. They may approach you to write a script for them. Another thing that I mentioned in the end, perhaps, was the networking and how influential networking can be. So, in short, you can get in touch with other similar writers who are in the struggling phase. You can approach to them. I'm again not restricting you to stay within Pakistan. It is networking. You can get in touch with other international script writers who are in the struggling phase or who may help you in getting yourself known. Well, to be honest, unfortunately, we don't have many serious workshops based on this project, but in abroad especially, they have special setups, they have special departments. So if you want, you can get yourself enrolled in one of the online courses to see your own worth, and just to have a reality check of your own writing. And there are so many different ways. You may like to, I can only give suggestions. If you want, you can share some excerpt or a scene or something to through any of the social media, and it may strike anyone. You never know. But because you are the needy, so you have to struggle, you have to move out. Chances are less that people would come to you and ask you if you write something. So you have to project yourself, and then it's up to you to what extent you can go.
Right. And Dr. Khan, we have another question. I'm sorry, the last one was
That's
not the
okay.
last one.
That's okay. That was the second last one. Okay.
Ma'am,
Ji,
as
ji.
you have said that even if we are presenting something negative, like we all have our philosophy relating to life, how can we present this destructive thing in a productive way? Like,
Uh, Amjad Islam Amjad is known for his this presentation of brutalest of realities in Pakistan. He discusses this feudal system, which usually people not talk about. He talks about this honor killing, which usually people do not touch upon. But how I say that it's not just mere representation of the bitter truth, but I think it's how you present it, and there is no harm if you give a kind of hope to the audience, and there is no harm if you give some kind of silver lining to your audience or to your readers, that no, please don't die after reading my writing. There is still hope in life, so we can make a change. I'm not sure if you have watched that Bowl movie. Have you watched the Bowl movie? Pakistani movie Bowl.
Yes, ma'am.
That was much scandalized. Yes, I think I am reminded of its ending. So I think it was a very, very strong and serious issue that the writer touched upon in Bowl. He could have chosen to just put an end to it where there was that hanging of the lady. He could have ended his movie on that. But I think that he made it a choice to include one scene in the end, which was all happy, and all those miserable people were brought back to life, and they were happy in life, and there was a kind of a hope. And I know that there was much criticism on that as well, that it did not match with the story that he had presented. And personally, I also could say that he has forced the ending over there. That was not what really happens. But now when I think there is no hope, because we all have a lot of problems in life. So if we can give some kind of hope in the ending, maybe through one scene or maybe through one message, that no, yes, when there is all this blackness, there's some kind of whiteness as well. And if even one person gets some energy and life through your words, I think that would make it productive.
Thank you
ma'am.
very
Thank you so
much,
much.
Dr. Khan. It
You're
was
welcome.
such a
You are
wonderful
most
learning
welcome.
experience. I'm sure all of the students and faculty have learned a lot. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much.
Take care. We
Thank you
cannot
very
offer
much. It
you
was a
tea, so
pleasure. Pleasure.
we'll have
No,
to
I'll
have
have my
our own
tea
tea
now.
at our own places.
Yes, we'll have a tea break now.
Thank you
All
very
right, you
much.
wish you all the best for your upcoming endeavors. And thank you very much for inviting me. God bless you all.
You're
Allah
most
Hafiz.
welcome. Thank you.
Allah
Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.